This is just a little PSA for anybody else who has been swindled by the pet psychic propaganda on this app. Learn from my mistake and do not do it, okay? It is a scam. It is 100% fake news. It's a scam. From the top, it was just absolutely...
I asked a lot is, when did you realize you could talk to animals? Like, you know, how old were you when you realized you could talk to animals? Stuff like that. So, like I've said before, this is a skill that anybody can learn. It's not like a gift that I was born with.
It was just absolute bullcrap, okay? The reason I bought it is because I had seen a couple of viral videos, you know, the pet psychic side of TikTok. I was like, oh, that would be like a sweet little gift for my husband. And I was also thinking like, you know, I'm really curious what goes through Georgie and Minnie's little pea-sized brains. Why not? $200 and 8 weeks later, I get our pet reading from this pet psychic. It's a 20-minute audio about both dogs. And let me just say from the top, not legitimate at all, okay? She asked Georgie about her food, if she likes her food. And Georgie said, yes, of course I love my food. It's the farmer's dog. None of that kibble crap that other owners give to their dogs. You guys, we don't feed Georgie and Minnie the farmer's dog, okay? So immediately I was just like, this is fake. She asks the dogs about how they feel about their mom and their dad. And she got energy that I was in a career of helping people, that I was a doctor who loves Disney. Okay, those two things could not be further from the truth. When asked about their home and their home environment, if they like it, they said that Georgie does love laying on the balcony in the sun, which is true. She also loves the pool and the sauna. Two things we do not have. Here is where it gets really, really good. We move on to Minnie, okay? And she starts off by saying that Minnie, you know, has some really bad physical ailments, which is, you know, somewhat true. She could probably tell from her photo, her eyes a little messed up. But Minnie was telling the pet psychic that she uses a cane to walk. She can't walk on her own and she uses a cane. Minnie does not have a cane. She then asked Minnie about her relationship with her dad and, you know, how her dad is in the home. She told the psychic that there is anarchy in the home and her dad owns too many pew-pews and there's themes of war in the home. Like Minnie's dad is a soldier, and was going on and on about how, you know, Minnie's dad, my husband, has PTSD from the war and is very depressed and could also possibly be... What? I'm sorry, what? That's an absolutely crazy thing to do in a pet reading, okay? This pet psychic could totally continue just making her bag by saying generic statements about dogs like, your dog Georgie is playful and loving and cute. Or something like, I'm sensing that Minnie loves to be around people. Instead, she's telling me that my husband is deeply, deeply depressed and owns too many. For the record, we don't own a pew-pew and we never will. I don't know where that came from. And to be completely honest, I don't know what kind of drug she's on to come up with all of these statements. Like, she could have done her research and she could have looked up my name and could have sold me a really good, somewhat accurate story based off of my social media. I don't know, either she channeled the wrong Georgie and Minnie. I'm sure there are two Frenchies out there who are sisters whose names are also Georgie and Minnie. Maybe she channeled them instead of my Georgie and Minnie. I have a feeling she's probably just making all this crap up. And she's getting her bag for it. So lesson learned, don't hire a pet psychic. Just don't. It's fake news.
Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video addressing that video that's going around. I'm sure you all saw it. I have not watched it. Like, I can't bring myself to watch it. But yeah, so I made a video yesterday, and it was before I knew that there was this video going around that she made. She made it a few days before she emailed me about the session, so I had no idea this was going on. And when I got the email, obviously I refunded her immediately, and I felt really bad, and I still do feel really bad. You know, like I said in my video yesterday, I've done a lot of sessions, and there have been 2 so far where the feedback came back, all of this was wrong. And I don't know why. You know, I I didn't watch her video, but I read some of the comments until like I had to stop. And you know, a lot of people were saying I Googled the wrong person, and I don't Google people before I do sessions for them. I wish that people only put the first initial of their last name for this exact reason. So when I started on TikTok, when those videos went viral, my biggest fear was doing a session that, you know, wasn't good. And then the person would make a video about it and, you know, post part of the session, the recording, in their video. What made this so much worse is that, you know, not only did this happen, but the person is like an influencer who has hundreds of thousands of followers. And so, yeah, so this was my worst nightmare. You know, it's, I don't know. You know, I feel really bad. And I feel honestly just like humiliated. Like I was so just afraid something like this would happen and someone would just post a video that just like ruined me in like more ways than one. So yeah, so this has happened. My worst nightmare came true. You know, I know that the session, I know everything wasn't accurate. I don't know why. I've done enough sessions where there's been, you know, accurate things that I wouldn't have known. And I know I can do this, but sometimes this happens. You know, the first time I did a session where, like the first session I did where I got this feedback, I didn't do another session for 3 weeks, and I had been doing them every day. So, yeah, it's hard for me to like jump back in. When I do sessions in general, sometimes really personal shit comes up. It just does. I've had animals bring up affairs. I've had animals bring up depression. I've had animals bring up infertility. And yeah, it's very uncomfortable for me when that happens. I wish it didn't, but sometimes it does. And I'm supposed to share everything I get no matter what. So I do. And maybe I should start asking people like, hey, do you want to know everything? You know, I don't know. So yeah, personal shit comes up sometimes. You know, I had no idea. Like, I had no idea this video was made. You know, I refunded her, obviously. Like, I feel really bad. But now I'm sort of trying to walk through this. I am not someone who is well equipped to handle something like this. Like my video yesterday, there were a lot of supportive comments that I really appreciated, but there were also, you know, obviously negative ones. And, you know, I could read 100 supportive comments, but the one negative one is what I'm focusing on. That's what takes me down. So I'm posting this video, but I'm not reading the comments. Like, I can't. Like, I don't have thick skin. And I know that's something you need to have when you post on social media and you do something like this. Like, you need to have thick skin. You need to let things roll off your back. Unfortunately, I can't do that. You know, negative comments affect me tremendously. You know, so I will not be reading the comments. No, I just, you know, I wanted to post this video. Like, I don't know why this happened. I don't know if I was just on a completely different frequency. I mean, it's very humiliating that that this is going around. And you know, what can I do? So I've done tons of sessions where, you know, they've been great. They've been accurate. There's no way, you know, I would know these things, but they're not all amazing. And I would never tell you guys, oh my God, I am the best animal communicator ever. Like, oh my God, every session is amazing, always 100% accurate. Like, I am the best. I would never say that. Some sessions are amazing, some I don't feel are good, and sometimes stuff like this happens, and I don't know why. So I am just trying to like walk through this.
I foolishly spent $200 on a pet psychic so that you don't have to. So here are some actual audio bits from the pet psychic reading that I got for my two dogs, Georgie and Minnie. Okay, so she asks Georgie if she likes her food.
She said, what's not to like? It's farmer's dog, the good stuff. Only the good stuff for me. Top quality 5-star stuff.
What?
None of that boring kibble.
We don't give her farmer's dog. We never have.
I like to lay out there, sunbathe. Unless it gets too hot, then I want to come in and relax, cool off by the pool. There's a sauna. I said, do you use it? She said, of course not. I'm just telling you there is one. Dad likes it, Mom not so much. She likes other things like dancing and Disney and music and sunshine and flowers and daffodils. No. I said, what does Dad like? No. She said, shooting guns. He was in the army, the armed forces, protecting the country. Their son was too. He doesn't live here.
Their son was too?
I said,
we don't have a child. Hank has never been in the army. Sorry, this is only 6 minutes in and it's a 20-minute audio. Okay, so buckle up.
I said, do you have any advice for your dad? She said, no, he struggles with things a lot, thinks he can't do certain things. There's trauma there, possibly depression. He needs to work through it. It can't hold him back. It can't become stronger than he is. He should meditate too. They should meditate together.
Okay, let's move on to Minnie because this isn't even like the craziest part.
Can you tell me more about this? She said, diseased. I said, I don't understand. She said, I've been sick before, very sick, but I am better now, healed, heart and lungs, tummy doing very well indeed. She said, handicapped. I use a cane to walk. She said, there's too much going on here physically and mentally. It's too much. I want a calm, peaceful home without guns and anarchy. Dad shoots guns, yes. It's loud, I don't like it. It needs to go away. Him and his hunting buddies. He shoots deer, I don't like it. He shouldn't have a gun. They don't belong here. Not safe. I do not feel unloved. I am very happy. We needed to change the subject. I said, can you tell me what you like about your home? She said, the stairs. I like running up and sliding down. Plop, plop, plop. I don't like the guns. I don't like the guns at all. But I like the stairs and the slide and the grass and rolling in it.
We don't have grass.
I like being pocket-sized. It's nice. You can be pushed in a stroller. I have one. And I saw like a teal dog stroller.
We don't own one of those. We don't have one.
As for Dad, I don't like the guns and work on yourself. I said, what does this mean? She said, mental health struggles. I don't want him to kill himself. And I said, Minnie, and she said, what? And I said, this is big stuff. Lock the guns away, you don't need them. I said, are you legitimately worried, Minnie?
Sorry. You got the wrong Georgie and Minnie. That's for sure.